diciamo, una fomentazione di natura radicale ha fatto sì che scoppiasse quello che è scoppiato. Ecco perché, ripeto, la diplomazia internazionale dovrebbe guardare molto al fenomeno Jugoslavia e capire perché la crisi sta avvenendo oggi in Europa. Grazie.
Se ci sono domande.
Sì, avrei una domanda per Refik Hodzic e la domanda è relativa alle conseguenze negative e positive, quindi una sua posizione a seguito della sentenza di assoluzione di Ante Gotovina e di Markac recente, e come valuta quali potrebbero essere le conseguenze nelle relazioni tra paesi nella regione a seguito di questa sentenza. Grazie.
Sì, buongiorno, sono Pietro Roncoroni, faccio il sindaco a Lavena Ponte Tresa, in provincia di Varese, sono attaccato alla Svizzera. Siamo reduci da un viaggio a Sarajevo con i 18enni, proprio avvenuto dal 3 al 6 di gennaio, dove dopo tanti anni che facciamo i viaggi della memoria nei campi di concentramento, quest'anno abbiamo deciso di fare una cosa diversa. Siamo andati a Srebrenica e così mi ha colpito una cosa, oltre al fatto che la presa dal punto di vista del ricordo e della memoria di un fatto successo nel 95 è molto più forte ancora degli orrori della Shoah, quindi è stato veramente importante avere quest'anno il coraggio di cambiare un po' le nostre mete e di fare un investimento importante per così dare ai ragazzi una motivazione per combattere le ingiustizie sulla base di quegli orrori che sono successi nella nostra storia europea. Ecco che la domanda è questa qua, visto che anche c'è qualcuno che si occupa di comunicazione. Mentre quando così organizzavo i viaggi per andare in campi di concentramento, avevo dei supporti tipo video, film di massima efficienza durante questi lunghissimi viaggi. Per andare a Srebrenica e a Sarajevo abbiamo fatto in pullman circa 50 ore, tra 20 andare a Sarajevo, 4 andare, perché le strade della Bosnia non sono proprio molto praticissime. Ecco, trovare materiale video della Shoah è facilissimo, abbiamo 70 anni di storia e ci siamo arrivati. Trovare materiale di tipo supporto video o film che raccontano quello che è stata la storia dei Balcani e della Bosnia in particolare è una faticaccia. Dobbiamo aspettare 70 anni? Grazie.
Prima di passare la parola, solo volevo ringraziare il sindaco che abbiamo invitato dopo aver scoperto questa iniziativa. Le posso dire che se si ferma alla fine ci sono almeno 10 persone con ognuno 10 titoli su questi temi, le posso indicare io in questa sala. Va bene, giusto per... Prego.
Buongiorno, volevo sapere il ruolo che hanno avuto le banche e il sistema dell'Unione Europea nella disgregazione della ex Jugoslavia.
A chi?
Chi vuole rispondere?
No, perché non so chi vuole rispondere.
Invece io due domande, c'è una diciamo latamente di politica estera e una invece di politica dell'istruzione, cioè quale ruolo hanno le due forze che hanno causato dal punto di vista internazionale la disgregazione di Jugoslavia, cioè Germania e Chiesa Cattolica oggi nella neo-Jugoslavia, e invece perché si parla sempre di razzismo nell'Occidente, soprattutto nell'Unione Europea, e invece si permette sempre che in Macedonia, in Kosovo, in Bosnia le scuole sono divise, cioè serbi albanesi o serbi bosniaci non vanno mai a scuola insieme. Cioè facciamo di più perché vadano a scuola insieme, cioè non si può battere il razzismo se si crea l'apartheid.
Ok, è sufficiente direi.
Aspetta,
no.
Ce n'è una ancora lì, un raccomandato e
Tenete
poi
conto che poi
il solito raccomandato e poi la piantiamo però.
Poi basta perché sennò non riescono a rispondere coerentemente.
Mi chiamo Giovanni Volta e sono raccomandato nel senso che sono 20 anni che ho iniziato con Consiglio con il progetto delle ACLI nel 93 e mi occupo tuttora di di Bosnia e accompagniamo studenti delle nostre scuole superiori a conoscere la Bosnia, perché credo che sia la cosa fondamentale da fare con i nostri giovani. La domanda è molto semplice, non è una considerazione, è veramente una domanda che però guarda al futuro, non più al passato, alle cause che sono senz'altro importanti, ma potremo fare un convegno solo su questo, o anche 5 minuti. Però, il futuro della Bosnia, scuole con apartheid, non fortunatamente in tutti i cantoni, ma spesso e volentieri, 2 entità che compongono uno Stato unico, una presidenza tripartitica, i potenti che sono estremamente scollegati dalla società civile. Noi siamo abituati in Italia, ma la cosa è amplificata all'ennesima potenza, un sistema di corruzione diffuso.
Anche a quello
e poi
siamo
parliamo,
abituati.
Come?
Anche a quello siamo abituati.
Certo.
Sono passati 20 anni, ma siamo ancora lì.
La domanda è questa riguardo al futuro. Parlava Hodzic di Europa, di comunità europea. La strada per un'integrazione europea. La domanda semplice: è più fattibile concretamente un processo democratico che attraverso la parte sana della società civile porti a una sostituzione dell'attuale classe dirigente bosniaca, o è più facilmente prevedibile invece altri tipi meno democratici, altri tipi di soluzioni che portino fra 10, 15, 20, 40 anni ad un nuovo stravolgimento della situazione attuale?
Perhaps the school and the European Union. Okay. Perhaps also this segregation.
Sure. I will start with the last question, and I had one question that was directed at me, and I will also very briefly touch upon the causes for the dissolution of Yugoslavia, which seemed to be of interest to many of people who asked. But in terms of how do we replace the political elites, is it through democratic process or are there other ways? I don't know how this will play out, but I believe that it is absolutely crucial to the future of Bosnia, but also the region, I think, in terms of long-term stability, long-term peace, if you want. Because I believe that the peace that we are enjoying right now, as Tim was describing it is true that we have stability while around us there is this upheaval. In my opinion, is very much dependent on the heavy presence of international community and this sort of outer ring of security, which is due to increased interest of the European Union and United States and different other players in the region. Whether that interest will remain in the future, we don't know. As Tim said, what if EU as a project fails? What if there is turbulence in Europe that Tim rightly said we depend so much on, and all of a sudden this outer ring of security disappears? The current leaders have done almost nothing except for cosmetic moves to shore up the peace, to take fear out of the political discourse, because fear is the greatest motivator for conflict. If you look at the statements of almost all the people who have been convicted of crimes, including Biljana Plavšić, you will see that their explanation is, we did it out of fear that we don't become victims like we were in the Second World War. As it is presently, you would have not only fear but also revenge as a motivator in many people to very readily go to conflict if there was no promise of a better future, so to say. So to me, I think that without looking into the causes of violence and dealing with understanding them and dealing with them, we will always depend on this outer ring of security. And I have to tell you, as a Bosnian, who, when everything started happening, was one of many Bosnians saying, world will never allow this. Our European brothers will never allow this. Sarajevo is 1 hour flight from Rome, 2 hour flight from London. This is impossible. This cannot be happening. It happened. So I don't have this endless reservoir of trust that the world will not allow this and the Europe will not allow that. And for that, we must have leaders who are brave enough, who are ready to recognize what the problems are, like the late Zoran Đinđić in Serbia was, who was not afraid to say this is an ill, sick society that we have to cure and we have to operate in places. That is the kind of leadership that we need if we are to hope for long-term peace, if we are to hope that our children will be worried whether who's better, Leo Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, rather than whether they worship Arkan or Legia or Nasser Oric or whoever. So is it a democratic process or something else? I don't know, but we have to do it. We have to do it. It cannot happen by outside imposition. It has to be a legitimate process of sort of authentic reaction. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm seeing more and more of these small initiatives and movements that are waking up and saying enough is enough. Come on, it's enough. Don't scare us anymore. You are doing this only for your short-term benefit, and of course nationalism is very present, but I am hopeful, and it has to be us. Of course democracy is the best way, but maybe other ways are possible. Gotovina and Markac, somebody asked about Gotovina and Markac. I worked for the tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. I think that the tribunal for the former Yugoslavia is by far the best thing that happened to the region since 1990. I think that if we are ever ready to actually squarely look at the causes of the war in Yugoslavia, the answers lie in the tribunal's archives. They are there already. It is just for us to actually go and look for them. Did the tribunal make mistakes in cases? Yes. Do I believe that Gotovina and Markac is one of these cases? Yes, on the record. I believe that the judgment of the appeals chamber in the case of Gotovina and Markac is strange to say the least. The criteria that the appeals chamber used to overrule the trial chamber judgment, which argued on 1,300 pages, it's finding that there was a joint criminal enterprise, that Gotovina was involved in this criminal enterprise, that there were crimes that were designed to basically expel Serbs from the Krajina region. Appeals chamber is a judgment on I don't know, 30 pages. So to me, I find it difficult to understand that judgment. I am not alone in this. There are many scholars who have raised the same concern. The debate is going on still about what was the reasoning for such a judgment. The impact, I think, is overwhelmingly negative. I know that Gotovina and Markac were hailed as heroes. Croatia basically celebrated what they said was the last battle of the Domovinski Rat and all this, and I found that difficult to observe, because I think that there were crimes against Serbs in Croatia, and they have not been absolved. There is no justice for these people. There has to be justice for these people. And I think that this judgment will contribute to the feeling that basically we are done. Maybe there will be some, as they call them, small fish, put on trial for this murder or that murder, but people who organized these crimes, and they were organized, there is no doubt about that, will never be brought to justice, because the explanation will be, well, ICTY said that there was no joint criminal enterprise, that there was no command responsibility, so there you go. So that is my answer. The problem is that really to comment on judgments, you need to be very thorough. And if I was to do justice to my reaction to this judgment, I would need some 30 minutes to go through various different elements of what I think is wrong. I don't usually do that, but I thought it was important to reply. And lastly, on the causes of war, that is exactly what we need to talk about. That is exactly what we need to discuss and get to the bottom of in the region. We need to squarely look at each other and talk about all the different reasons that led not to the breakup of Yugoslavia necessarily, because all ideas, political ideas of self-determination and different direction that people see in terms of how they want to organize their societies are legitimate as long as they are not based on crime or massive human rights abuses. I suffer for the breakup of Yugoslavia. That is still my country. But it does not exist anymore. What led to the breakup of it is far less important to me to understand than why was that breakup so violent? Why was it so brutal? Why such brutality among neighbors? And how do we ensure that it never happens? There were attempts by academia, you have the famous Laura Silber and Alan Little book and documentary TV series, The Breakup of Yugoslavia. I recommend it. People should watch it. It has all the actors of it talk about it. So there are some good elements. As I said, the tribunal in The Hague has all the answers. But I think that in order for us to actually be able to learn something from the breakup of Yugoslavia, we have to have an open debate in which we will embrace these truths. Because right now there exist, I think, 5 or 6 different versions. It's either separatism of Slovenia and Croatia, it is, I don't know, the foreign banks, Vatican, Genscher, aliens, whatever, that actually caused this to happen, depending on who you talk to. And you will find people that will start with the following sentence. In 1389 there was a battle of... that is where the breakup of Yugoslavia started. So I think that the political breakup to me is much easier to understand than the intimacy of violence in which it occurred.
Thank you very much. Well, after such an eloquent reply, which covers a lot of the issues, I'm not really sure where to take up on that. Just to sort of fill in a few things. You did mention over there. You asked about what. Can you hear me now? Sorry, I was just saying what an eloquent reply that was. So it's quite hard to follow that up. You mentioned the BBC, the documentary, and I think that you asked about what to watch. I can't think of any better place to start than that, and I don't think that that's very hard to get hold of. Although there was a mention of banks, there was a mention of Germans, etc. I think that these are all kind of conspiracy theories, and I don't take them seriously, and I don't think that they should be taken seriously. I do think, though, that there is an element, there's always an element of finger pointing within the region, I have to say, of saying it was all somebody else's fault. And you know what? It all wasn't somebody else's fault. It wasn't, Germany or Britain or the Catholic Church or Saudi Arabia that wanted to rip Yugoslavia up. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. It was opportunist politicians who began a process to save their own skins as communism collapsed or began to fade. And thought that they could get away with it, and well, I suppose in a way that many of them did, not all of them, of course. I think that was this question of Yugo nostalgia. I mean, people talk about it, but it's kind of like, well, yeah, all right, but I mean, it's a bit like being nostalgic for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a kind of useless, in a way, it's a kind of useless sentiment. And what I want to, I'm sorry, I'm not dismissing it, but I'm just saying it's like, let's not over-exaggerate it. And the fact is that not everyone feels that nostalgia. They certainly don't feel that in Kosovo, for example. Also, I want to make clear that when I've talked in the past about the Yugosphere, that people think that this is something to do with Yugo nostalgia, but it's not. It's nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's to do with today, and it's to do with the future. There was a kind of mini speech over there about Europe should look to